But consumers, they don't really know who's a better lawyer or who's a better surgeon or who's a better garage door mechanic. People make decisions based on the people they like. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. I'm sleepy, so I just got some drink that my coffee shop calls a red eye, which I've never had before.
A red eye? What's in that?
2 shots of espresso in a regular drip coffee. So I'm like, I'll probably drink half of that.
Might not sleep tonight.
That's right.
No coffee before noon. I made a hot chocolate.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
So you guys were on the Pilma podcast, or the webinar that Ken and I did, and you wanted a little SEO audit. So I thought I'd give you guys some free value and see what you think.
Yeah. We spend a lot of money on SEO, and I know it's
Oh, you do, huh? Okay.
They, in our market at least, they seem to build 2 or 3 of the first page websites for most PI firms. So I'm like,
yeah,
it's kind of why we went with them. I'm sure there's more to it than that, though.
Yeah. And I think they're doing a good job. I'll say a couple things. So obviously, iLawyer works with a lot of guys here. You see this link here at the bottom? That's a parasitic link. You should tell them to remove it.
Do you know if they will? Because I remember you saying that in there, and I was like, I wonder if they would do that for us.
The reason why they have SEO is that they're linking, like this is something where for the people to do SEO professionally, this is unethical if you don't tell your clients. So you can do it, but it's just, the search engines kind of look down upon it. And in the industry, you're a vampire if you're doing that. So if you do SEO for a company, for a, bunch of PIs, then you should be able to build it because you speak at conferences, because you publish articles and all that, not because you're sucking the juice off the client sites.
Right.
It's free. It's not like you guys have a lot of juice anyway to suck off anyway. Because look, your site, as you know, is only a DR8.
Right.
And you saw Google yesterday announced that they finally started rolling out the helpful content update. So a lot of the techniques that SEO companies use, where they have thin content, geo-modified pages, are getting hammered. And you're going to see that over the next month or so. And you can't blame Christmas or seasonality or COVID or anything like that. But the cool thing is that you do rank on a lot of keywords. And we can see where that's coming from. We can see what those keywords are. Kind of cool. Dog bite, car crash injuries. I would have expected to see a lot more with LSA and things like video, but you're getting site links, and I think you're getting people also you're getting a fair number of SERP features here, which isn't bad. And on even medium competitive terms, even though your site doesn't have much SEO power, which tells us that whenever I see this, I know an SEO company's involved, which is fine, right? I mean, there's thousands of SEO companies that, for better or worse, they get coaching from us, right? So you have all these different pages that they built, which there's nothing wrong with them. Like here, motorcycle accident, it's not bad. And this is clearly SEO'd for Denver motorcycle accident lawyer at the H1, right? And the firm name. But there's almost nothing here that shows that a human wrote this, because these look like auto-generated pages. This is what Google has been talking about with thin content pages, because almost all these are the same. Now, the way they're doing the SEO is there's not much juice to pass around. So that's why they have all these other items. So most of your SEO comes from internal link equity, like moving around the little juice you have between all these. And I think a lot of these look like the correct things. They're based on people also ask. And I'm sure if we see the real analytics, we would see, where that's coming from. So, based on the little juice that you have, this is working pretty well. And of course, there's higher powered terms that you want to rank on, Denver personal injury attorney, car crash, Colorado, whatever it is, but not bad. So I don't think there's anything wrong with your SEO. I think your Google game could be a little stronger when it comes to copying the stuff over into social. The fact that your reviews are good means that your GMB is doing pretty well. Some of the data here is a little bit off. When we're looking at listings or any kind of signals, we want to make sure there's an exact match between your name, address, and phone. So even if the phone number is the same, but not formatted the same, that unfortunately you would think like in 2022,
right,
all the directories would be smarter and all this, but they're actually not. So it has to be the same. Ringsby CT versus Ringsby Court are not the same.
I'm surprised we're not showing up on Yelp either, because we very briefly paid for a campaign I expected to fail on there, and it did.
Well, I mean, Yelp is better for restaurants and things in San Francisco, but the Yelp reps, they push really hard.
Yeah.
And they ask for a lot of money as commitments, which whatever, I get that. They're sales driven. I get it. instead of self-serve. Everything we have is it's driven by the analytics. So this is an easy thing. You would just fix this for $10 a month via Yext. Just get this. And then obviously manually claiming each of these is better than doing a directory submission or, having the third parties do that. But Whitespart, Yext, all these guys for $10 a month can handle this. So that's pretty easy. Reviews are good. Obviously, we'd like to have more.
Right.
We want to take the content you have and be able to repurpose it. I think taking these reviews and posting them to your Facebook, like literally screenshotting them, or taking this stuff here and screenshotting them to your photos on your GMB would actually help a lot. And you want to, put in 50 plus photos, put in videos. That's going to help you rank on more of these, showing up for more of the features.
So even screenshotting the whole,
it looks more authentic when you do that as well.
Excerpt of the Facebook post, more or less, showing that's some low hanging fruit we can definitely do.
It's easy. So just get a VA to do that. I lived in North Boulder for a little while, but even still,
really?
Yeah, I lived right next to North Rec Center. I would go to Pearl Street 2 or 3 times, hang out on the weekends, watch the weird people do their weird things and in the flat irons. And I normally pass through Denver once every 2 weeks or so because I fly on Southwest and sometimes even Frontier, which I try not to. But
right.
Yeah.
They're making everyone stick their bag in the little box now to really check. So
I was on Frontier last week and I was able to jam my backpack into that thing with a small thing, and they still billed me $100. And I didn't want to argue. I would have missed the flight. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll pay your $105 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not even the cheapest option anymore, honestly. No. Not worth it.
Anyway. And then they're merging with Spirit, I think.
Right.
Gosh.
Anyway.
Yikes.
Are you running local service ads?
We are. Was it more than 2 weeks ago? I recently changed our budget to so Ken did in our mastermind group in the Bahamas, which would have been 3 weeks ago. He had a whole segment on like, hey, here's what we think you should do on your LSAs. So we maxed the budget. We basically let Google choose all the stuff it wanted to.
Have you called Google to see what potentially is holding you back, like your response rates or other factors where you're not showing up? I mean, because budget's one of them.
We didn't even have messaging on. I turned that on. So we've still never gotten a message. But yeah, I haven't. I didn't even know you could. I mean, we have Google My Business as a workspace suite. So I do actually have support access that doesn't cost money. But no, I haven't. I'd be curious to see.
Yeah, Google will help you for free. And there's other people that are platinum providers and LSA. And Google's made a lot of changes with GMB, now called Google Business Profile, in the last
right.
Which are good. Yeah, so we can see what these other guys are doing.
Yeah, Fang is an iLawyer.
Yeah.
And so a couple of these folks were, but they moved away.
I always wonder, how is it that these guys have so many players in the same niche and somehow that's not an issue, I mean, there's only
how many
girlfriends can you have? I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I think your SEO is good. You just want to be careful about thin content.
Yeah.
So if I look at TBI or what, I get it, right? If you're an SEO company and you're managing these websites and you've got templates, Denver brain injury attorney. Okay. But does this really say anything about Denver or is this something that can just be auto-generated for any attorney site? Oklahoma City, Los Angeles, how is this how is this particular to you guys or to Denver? I don't think there's anything you could weave in some stories okay. So they mentioned Dormer Harping, but it looks like there's nothing about Dormer Harping in here, is there?
Right.
Doesn't that, I mean, I know you're not an SEO person, but doesn't that kind of strike you as,
Yeah. And what do people, my thinking has always been, nobody at our we tried to write our own content for a while when we were on page 14. Sure. And it just was so time consuming that we were like, we need to just outsource this to somebody. And we have risen, but we still if my partner ever looks at this stuff, he's like, we need to rewrite all this. I'm like, who's going to do it?
Well, you have VAs that are using our training to do it. And
okay.
We believe every PI, unless they just got started and just passed the bar, they should have their own VA that works only for them, that works only on their content, that knows the content, that's collecting reviews and sprinkling them in. So, let's say you have a motorcycle accident in, Broomsfield or something, and then we'd have that. We'd add something to the Broomsfield page or to Lodo or to Superior, whatever. We would have So it would be like more Denver or more of your stories that are sprinkled in.
Right.
You can think of this, like what they did here. This is great. This is a great general framework.
Right.
They're using the right keywords and the right density, and they're saying brain injury lawsuit. Like, okay, yeah, brain injury, this, Denver, this, brain injury, that. Yeah, they're doing this. So yes, but in order to not get, what's that?
It's super generic, and there's no emotion, no story, no ethos.
Yeah. So so this person, this VA you should hire should be someone that knows your content, that is like part community manager, part social media person, because that's how they're collecting the content.
Right.
And they're also part content person, where they're kind of like the impact of doing this is to improve your SEO, but you don't need an SEO company. So I would ask, so fine, they built these pages and all this here, but once they've done this, is there anything else for them to do? Or are they just charging a fee every month once they do? It's kind of like financing. You pay over many months, but really the work was all done in a couple of weeks,
Right. And that's what
I don't think you should continue to pay if there's not work continuing to be done,
Yeah. And they do, like, when you look and see what they've actually done, it'll be like, we're supposed to get so many pages and so many blah, blah, blahs per month. And that's really on average, because they might do it all like in November and do nothing for 2 months, kind of deal.
And that's if you guys are happy with the results, it's fine, right? Now, if we look at your links, you've got 1,200 links, which looks like a lot of links, but most of these are directory sorts of links that don't really pass juice, as you can see. No follow. The DR8 is the sum of these guys not passing any juice. And maybe this helps you. This is a sponsored link, so they're buying some links, which can be okay and sometimes isn't okay.
I buy that one.
Okay,
it's relatively cheap for a directory. I freaking hate FindLaw, but we try to do the bare minimum that's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you can see that there.
Yep.
So if we look at the most recent links, and the links can occur naturally. The links can be because you bought them. The links can be because, you're syndicating stuff or doing new blog posts, but not really anything new here.
Hey.
Blogspot, that doesn't even count. This is spam. Dozuki, I don't even know who that is. Super lawyers. Okay. So I would argue that nothing really has happened in a long time in terms of generating links. So just like when you audit PPC campaigns, you look at the change history to see what's been done. So I'm not saying fire iLawyer, just keep what you have. But I think that the piece that they won't do, which kind of falls in the cracks, is this kind of social media, repurposing content, taking things that people are saying in the GMB or on social and turning it into other related content. I think that I've made a strong argument that this needs to be in-house. There's some other things that we could argue about and nitpick, like you don't have a video on the homepage, you're not linking to other social networks, site loads fast-ish, but there's other problems, which, we can talk about. But I think you're doing pretty well. You just need more high-powered links, which is a one-off kind of thing that you can do here and there. It's not an ongoing thing. It's like when you want to build a house, you pay one time to build the house. You don't continue to pay however much, but, people don't know that, then they, whatever. But that's my recommendation is have someone. You could even have someone, some local college student or whoever, be your community manager, social media person to collect this content and then be able to measure how that's driving new links. Maybe you write some guest blog posts, maybe some of the nonprofits that you work with, you do a guest blog post there. Your social media gets no engagement, as you know. It's someone's posting stuff here, but nothing's happening, right? It's not really doing it. You would think pets would win, but not always, right? Because there's too many hashtags. This is a clear sign of spam. Never do that, right?
What is the recommended amount? None?
None. Zero.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you want to do what consumers do. You want to make it look natural.
Yeah.
The minute it looks like an ad, just then you don't have videos here. Where is the store? Okay, babies, that's good, but you got to have. Okay, so that's cool. I love hiking. I love the Rockies. Happy birthday.
That's all I do, but I've been injured for 2 months.
Oh no,
haven't been out there doing much. So
Colorado, Denver trial, leadership inspiration. Don't do that. Colorado dogs. I get what you're trying to do. This doesn't work.
And these are Instagram posts pushed through to Facebook from Instagram, directly.
Yeah, and you can do that by tying in with your business center. And then on Twitter, you can do $1 a day, which is great. We taught how to do that. So I have nothing to sell you here. I'm just giving you free,
right.
free value. I want to see you guys win. Daryl is a good friend of mine. He's our favorite client, and he believes in just giving, helping other lawyers. It's not like he's mainly in Kentucky. So whatever we're doing with him in Kentucky doesn't affect you in Denver. If anything, well, you don't have any power. I would say that you could write a guest blog post for us about, what it's like running a law firm in Denver and, spending a half day skiing, but also, one of the few cities can do that and work and, or vice versa. Not a direct link exchange, which would get us in trouble with Google. But
so you don't think those guest blog posts, like I would say probably most of them are kind of spammy requests via email to do guest blogs.
Yeah, those ones that are auto-generated that are clearly not personalized to you, ignore them.
Right.
I would do, it's just like a friend invites you, like I wouldn't take any random invite for dinner. It'd only be someone I trust.
Yeah.
And it could be other people in the Bahamas that are in the mastermind. And you write maybe your thing about dog bites. Let's see.
Or I could do like a ski law one would be great.
Yeah.
They don't ski and,
yeah.
Georgia, even though
but even this, like think about this. So let's see. Do you have one on skiing? Well, let's just say this
one.
Yeah. This one on dog bites. Okay. So you have some of these things about dog bites, but there's like almost nothing here. And you know that if I do Colorado dog bite lawyer, this is what I was showing in our thing with Ken. Okay, there's ads, of course, LSAs at the top, which is sort of Google ads, but sort of not. Mm-hmm. There's all these other guys, but notice what's missing. There's no Twitter carousel here. There's no video. There's no, we could easily dominate in all these other areas. So the content, so once you build a page, burn injury, where's the one I just had? Once you build a page, it's not like it's done. You can continue to improve upon this. And so let's say, another attorney in Ken's mastermind had some advice on dog bites in Kansas or like Boston or wherever it was. You could quote him. You could say, as my friend so-and-so in Boston said, this is what happened. And maybe you have a thing about skiing and you could say, well, we don't ski, but KC does. And so there's ways you can link between other lawyers, not direct reciprocal linking, right? But just within our network that creates value for everybody because these are all PIs. So Google will see this as relevant. The only thing you're not going to link to is another PI in Denver, of course. But how about your favorite coffee shops in Boulder? Your favorite places to hike in Chautauqua, when on the weekend, or what you do at the Pearl Street Mall, or my favorite restaurant in Denver is the Fogo de Chao, right? Which is the Brazilian barbecue. So maybe I'd say we just had our holiday party at the Fogo de Chao. And, maybe you talk about how much you like it and you've gone there the last 5 years and you guest blog post on the Fogo de Chao in Denver or whatever it is. So you send a signal either because of the geo, meaning like you're honoring other local businesses and they honor you, or the category, which is all things related to PI, which is national. So it's either in the geo or it's in the national. And that's how you do SEO. And you can do that. Whoever the SEO people can do that, but you're best positioned to do that because you have the relationships in Denver. The business owners, you have the stories of the people that you helped. So you're not just like taking pictures of them with the check or something. You're telling the story, right? And you're, for better or worse, you're working with people at their pivotal moments in their life when tragedy happens and their life gets changed. You're there for them and they appreciate that, and you get referrals because you honor them, and you're not the PI driving the Lamborghini and being a douchebag, or you're accessible, and that will come through. But it's I think that's only partially coming through. So now this is we're more like social media and branding, but it all ties in together. And you just need to have someone who owns that, and ideally a VA or two that's handling the day-to-day mechanics, because this kind of stuff can be done for $3 to $5 an hour.
So for guest blogs with other people, when you use the term guest blog, do you literally mean on our website where it says blog, or are you meaning okay? Yeah.
And it could also be linking where you have an existing blog post that's about skiing and you link to a friend who's a skier who has nothing to do with law, but you just link to them or they link to you, right? Like, oh, I was with my friend KC and, we have not gone hiking for the last couple months or whatever, but I remember we did, 12 of the 14ers last summer or, whatever it was. Right. And they would link to you. Right. And then, or maybe, you donate some to the School of Mines, you have a $500 scholarship or to DU, and, they link to you saying, oh, thank you so much for, offering this $500. I think you were doing some scholarship stuff. That's the cheesiest way to do SEO, but it still works.
What about I guess, sponsoring arts events type stuff?
Yeah. And so as part of that, there's two things on that. One is when you sponsor someone else's thing, ideally, if they're a charity or a 501c3, then they should give you a shout out. but not a shout out on social media. They have a little guest, and the blog post, because a lot of people think a blog post has to be this whole article that's like 500 words. No, literally like, hey, can I just do a 3-sentence guest blog post on your arts festival or whatever, saying, hey, we're so proud to sponsor so-and-so art festival. We've been there the last 3 years. And the thing I like most about it is this one thing. And then that's your guest blog post. And it's a picture of you at the festival. But that blog post in there has a link to the website. That's all we want. We're just trying to get that link on that guest blog post. Obviously, make it a decent site, make it a decent post where you say a few things and people feel good about it. Then you take that link where they let you have the guest blog post, and then you share that across social, like, hey, everybody, check out this weekend. There's the festival or whatever it is, when really you're doing it for the SEO.
Right.
Social media lasts like 2 days, but the SEO lasts forever. So everything we're doing with an eye towards the SEO. Second thing is, if they're a nonprofit, they may have Google grants, which is the $10,000 a month from Google. And if they have it, there's like a 90% chance they're not even using it, because whoever at the nonprofit has no idea how to run their Google ads. And we say, you know what, as part of our donation, because we believe in your cause, helping pets or the art festival or, battered women, whatever the thing is, hey, we would love to help you manage your Google grants. We would just love to donate some of our services, because, we're stronger in marketing and that kind of thing than a nonprofit is. So we just love to donate our services with no fee. And, you guys are spending $500 a month of the 10,000, and we can probably get you up to 8,000 or 9,000 of the 10,000. So why wouldn't you? And all we ask is that you just put up a blog post that honors us. Oh, thank you, Casey, so much for volunteering services to help us with, our marketing efforts. Because, the PI firms, they know a lot more about advertising than nonprofits do. They have a reputation for that. And then what we do is we run $2,000 or $3,000 of their $10,000 Google grant to that blog post. So we're using their PPC money, and it's totally legit if you follow a few certain rules that Google has. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's like, why not use Google's money? You can spend your own money too. And the cost per click on certain terms is just ridiculous. And Google Grants has a $2 maximum CPC. So we can't go against the really big terms, but there's a lot of terms we can go against. Chihuahua dog bite. Like, we could probably win that one, right? Denver Chihuahua dog bite.
That's the number one dogs who bite in Denver, actually, is Chihuahuas.
It's not pit bulls? Okay.
No, and then it's Labradors. It's just because those are the most common dogs, I'm sure.
Okay.
I think the ones.
But that's a cool fact. Like, that's something you can make as a blog post, right?
Yeah. It's funny because, like, when I started, like, way before Katie was with us, when it was just like me and my partner, the advice we were given by the different SEO company was like, oh, blogs are dead, don't even bother. And so we haven't bothered for years. And so you were always talking about like guest blogs, even in the other stuff I've seen you on. And I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah.
So it just cracks me up, because I'm like, I shouldn't have listened to those people, because we were blogging. I mean, Katie can probably see on our website, like, I don't know when the last blog post was, but it was probably like 2018.
Your blog is dead.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is like, you throw it over the wall. Well, it's the SEO. I'm busy being a lawyer. I'm going to let the SEO company do the SEO thing. And then no one does it.
Right.
Because the SEO company can't write blog posts, because they don't know Denver. They're not lawyers. They can't do it. I'm not a lawyer. Even I can't even do it. Right.
Yeah.
So what can I do for you guys? How can I help? I just want to give you guys all our resources, put you in touch with whoever we should put you in touch with.
It's a good question.
I guess, do you have any like tools that we should be utilizing out there?
We have tons of tools. You guys are using, now this might piss off your SEO company, but I really like Rank Math and Link Whisper as 2 plugins to WordPress that will help you write better blogs. And Rank Math came out with this thing called the Content AI. Have you seen all these AI tools that like generate images and generate? The Content AI tools will auto write blog posts. And so there's a lot of debate about whether you should use these tools or not. And they do work for SEO. My opinion is it's okay to use these tools, but use them to write 70 to 80% of the content. But the rest of it, you need to put in like pictures and think about it and like weave in your other stuff. Do not use AI tools to 100% automate. That's when you get into trouble. That's when it looks fake. You can use the AI tools, but just make sure there's like a good part of human review in there too.
So I'm sure it's easier for Google's AI to recognize other AI.
Well, a lot of these SEO people are saying they think they're so sophisticated that Google will never catch them. And I've been in this game for 30 years, right? I started at Yahoo almost 30 years ago. And I can tell you, we have always caught these people. They think they're sophisticated. We catch them every time. And the people that I trained up are the ones who then went to Google, and then Google IPO'd a few years later, and people I trained up made a lot of money. Some of them made over $100 million that I trained up in SEO. Yeah, I'm telling you, the AI tools are okay to use. Just don't be lazy and auto-generate a bunch of garbage. The stuff you have on your site is like kind of borderline auto-generated garbage. Okay. I'm not trying to, have an angry phone call to, iLawyer, right? But just come on, we got to up the game a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. And their communication has never, kind of their sales pitch is like, hey, we're going to do this for you. We'll get you ranked because here's our other websites that actually rank.
And it works. I mean, you're ranking on those keywords. So they're doing what they said.
Right. Oh, and so it was Whisper Link, and what was the other?
Link Whisper and Rank Math. And I assume you have full admin on your site, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you also have your Google Analytics. I see you've upgraded to GA4, which is good. I think you have some things missing in your tag manager and some of your pixels and whatnot, but let's see here. Yeah, you don't have a Facebook pixel. Your tag manager is missing. You have a few other things that are kind of missing, which you may not care about. But if your analytics are important to you and you want to track your cases, which I see you're doing through CallRail, you're going to want to upgrade your analytics a little bit.
What was that? Like a card came by, you said PO or something? Was the third one?
The Google Tag Manager?
Yeah. Maybe I just heard something in there that I thought you said something else.
You have a few things you have a few pixels that are missing.
Okay.
Yeah. But then again, if you're not I'd recommend, even if you're not running ads on TikTok or Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or whatever, you should just put all the pixels on your site just so you can collect the data. Because then they're going to tell you, if you put the pixel there, they'll tell you like what % of people were on Snapchat and also went to your site, and what blog posts they read, and other kinds of analytics that Google can't tell you by themselves.
And I think I know how to do that.
We have a whole course on how to do that.
I learned how to put a pixel on there we have like a display ad campaign with somebody else. And it took me a little bit to figure it out, but it really wasn't that hard. I just found a place in the footer.
It's just a site-wide footer or something like that. Site-wide header is a little better than the footer because you want the pixel to fire. Yeah. But all websites, all modern websites are driven by JavaScript. That's just kind of how it is now. So you have Google Analytics, you have GA4, right? Here's all the different things that you guys are using. CallRail, Yoast. Yoast and Rank Math are kind of Coke and Pepsi. Yoast has been my favorite for the last 14, 15 years, but now most people kind of favor Rank Math over Yoast, but it's fine. So there's Tag Manager showing here, but it's not active. You have some of these schemas, which is fine. You have all this technical stuff related to WordPress and these plugins, which is cool, but we don't see these tags inside Tag Manager, and we don't see the Facebook pixel, and we don't see all these other pixels, which should be driven from inside your Google Tag Manager. So we have, seems like you're pretty handy, Casey. So we have this thing, blitzmetrics.com/DPG, digital plumbing. So digital plumbing shows you how do you connect all these different things together. And it's like assembling IKEA furniture. It's a little tedious, but it's not like it's hard to do. Okay. And you want to make sure your Google Analytics is tracking the calls and CallRail, maybe things like the disposition, like was it a real quality lead? How long did they stay? Or, all these things. So we have a whole course on how to do that here. And we have training and we have implementation as well. We have 124 courses now. How many courses do we have? We have a lot in here.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of courses in here.
You guys have like like Ken was talking about, so in our mastermind, Katie wasn't there. I was trying to think of the people. Somebody had just hired your company. But I don't really know what they had hired you to do. We didn't talk that much details. I know Ken said he had hired you all. Like, what do you generally, and I appreciate these things where you're not really making a sales pitch, you're just trying to help us, but it might be helpful to actually hire you to do some stuff. And so where can I kind of see like the list of services that we could pick from, or do you have anything you would recommend to start for us? Because I think our weakness is probably just like manpower. Like we don't necessarily.
I think you need a content VA, and I think you need, that's just like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So let's just hire someone out of the Philippines who works for you directly, and you pay him $3 an hour.
Right. And then I try to convince my partner we need to do this for other aspects of the firm too.
Just be careful. Like when you hire one VA, the urge is to try to get them to do everything, and there's no such thing as a Superman VA.
Right.
So you can hire them to do content marketing, is what we call the content factory, which is what I taught last time. So have them do that. But then later, if you want a VA to do PPC or a VA to do community management, like those are all different roles for different people, right? Just like your intake person is not your lawyer, is not the receptionist, is not the maintenance garbage person. Like they're all different roles. So yeah, I'd recommend that there's a content VA, and we can help you find them, or you can go through our training on how to find them and train them. We'll give them, have them go through our training so they do it the right way. And the other thing is that I would implement digital plumbing, which is to get all your tracking in place. I feel like tracking has to happen, but because most attorneys, they love to jump for the bright, shiny object, but I'm a data person. I kind of want to get the analytics in place before we start doing, well, this other attorney did this Super Bowl ad, so we should do Super Bowl ad. Well, maybe not,
It's not going to do anything if you don't know they actually saw the commercial and called you because of it.
Yeah. Well, then we want to see like how much traffic is. There's different ways of measuring this, right? So digital plumbing that I just showed you is how do you get all your measurement in place, all the data in one place, and then start to track your goals, like what are calls worth and what % of calls are answered within 60 seconds or, whatever it might be, which means you need to know what is a lead worth? What is a call worth? How much are you willing to pay for a new case? Like if you don't have that, then the analytics doesn't matter.
Which we do have that basic, like I don't actively track it, but like it's very easy to calculate, and we compare it to, whether we're going to do a campaign or not. Based on what's the conversion rate and how much does it cost to get enough cases to become a case, and how much are those cases worth.
That's the business of being an attorney, right?
Yeah, like because some people have talked about like they have you on like some sort of monthly plan. I think it was like they're paying you like $2,000 a month. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, we have one package we call the conversion engine that we're just kind of testing for $2,500 a month.
That might sound right.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask them like who has hired you and what they're hiring you for, and then because we're kind of one of the smaller ones in my group as it is, but we're kind of.
I don't think we're not taking any more people for that program for another 60 plus days. Yeah.
Yeah. Then somebody was like, "You guys are really busy, and you got to hire a bunch more, train a bunch more people up."
Yeah, we got to hire another 200 people in the next couple months. Yeah, I'm going back to Pakistan in a couple of weeks to get more VAs.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm supposed to meet the president too. He wants to meet
the president of Pakistan.
Yeah, they're almost the same size as the United States. I think they have like 260 million people. They're a big country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think are they the 4th or 5th most populous country, something like that. They're
up there, definitely. That's pretty cool.
Be careful. They tried to assassinate him like a few weeks ago.
The former Prime Minister Imran Khan.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The cricket player, famous cricket player.
Yeah. I didn't get to meet him. I was invited, but I already had flights out. But yeah, I mean, I know that in the media, they make it seem like it's terrorists and all that, but these people, it's just like going, like walking around, Broomfield. It's no different.
Right.
I mean, there's bad parts of Denver too,
Totally. It's just like, don't be stupid and use common sense.
Yeah. And, there's like a lot of my friends are like, you're going to Pakistan. I mean, they might like cut your head off or do these weird Muslim things. And so when I'm in Pakistan, they're like, well, what about all those weird, like fundamentalist people, like the Jonesboro Baptist Church people, or what about I'm like, well, and they said, you know what, we have those people here too, just like you have those people.
That's right.
Anyway, cool.
What was the so the tool that you I think you showed us this on your presentation to the mastermind group. Like the tool, the filter you have overlaying all when you search in Google, and you can see all the analytics right under pages.
So SEO Quake is the free one. And then the one that's paid, which is like $229 a month, is Ahrefs.
Yeah, RF. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked into that and I was like,
SEMrush is a more powerful tool, but if you're doing live browsing, the best toolbar plugin is Ahrefs.
Okay. And is that the same thing that where you got that list of all of our directories that showed we were missing and that stuff?
And if you do that, you're going to piss off your SEO people because they don't like it when clients can see what's going on.
They'll get over it.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't like it because then you start asking questions like, "Hey, you know what? I knew you guys said you were building all these links, but I haven't really seen any in the last 2 months."
Right.
Shit, they got me. Or I know you got these links. You got this stuff published, but those are all from pages that have authority of 0, or there's no links. There's no traffic coming from those, vanity PR things that you like. PR agencies hate it when we do this because they claim like, "Oh, we got you in Forbes." Yeah, that was a paid placement and it drives 0 traffic. Plus it's a no follow link.
I would say the most shocking thing you showed me today was the recent activity for links, and that we didn't have any since May, because I feel like we're paying for them to build to, like, I feel like that is the tier that we moved into this year, to pay for them to actually work on active backlinking, which I don't think they do at their lower
They may,
levels.
well, maybe like, it's not like every month they're giving you
Right.
another 5 links. It'll be in bursts. So maybe you could ask them, do they sub the work to other people?
I'm sure they do.
Most of the time they do. They'll say they don't, but they do. And so you hire these people from India or whatever who just generate a bunch of links on
Right.
fake blogs or whatever. And, every month or so, they'll hire someone for $100 to do that. So you get this spike in links, and then they can say, every quarter we're generating another 300 links for you, which is true, but it's not this steady. So Google applies basically a lie detector test to see like what's legit. So, like in a lie detector test, they look at your breathing and how you blink and your tone. And if any one of these things is not quite right, then you're probably lying, right? So Google does the same thing. If your link velocity, if the keywords that you're using, if the IP address is like all these, if any of these things look a little off, then it looks like something fishy is going on. And so now they're busting people for doing techniques that have worked for a long time. So in the next couple of months, you want to be a little more careful.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like we should probably digital plumbing first, and then I think we'll take a look at some of these other things you recommended.
And get an in-house person. You really need to have an in-house person who gets trained up, and otherwise it's the fat man getting the shoe shine, and you don't really know.
I mean, I've been to our SEO sale, like our regional salesperson who for our SEO company, he has a vacation home at a ski place I like to go to. So
wow, that's nice. Yeah, but the salesperson is a waiter, right? The people who do the work, they're the cooks in the kitchen. So the waiter can talk all about today's salad and the soup of the day and the surf and turf, but the waiter doesn't know anything about how the food's actually made.
Right. And
a lot of agencies, they keep the separation from the cooks in the kitchen and the waiters in the front. And I understand why, because if you bring the cooks in the kitchen out to the front, they don't know how to talk. They have like their hands are greasy or, whatever. I'm one of those where I like to talk to the people doing the work. I want to see what's actually occurring. So the SEO companies see me as meddlesome because I have the technical clout to see what's going on, right?
When I go to that house, I just think, you guys are charging a lot of freaking money because this is a very expensive, nice house. And
so you're thinking like, I'm paying for that.
Yeah, literally. And I'm like, damn straight we're using his freaking vacation house.
You never want to see your salesperson, driving too nice of a car. It means something.
Exactly. So my wife might be upset if we don't get to use that house again, but making a lot more money than having to go down there. So
I don't have any problem with my vendors making money, right? I want to see them win.
Right.
But they also need to deliver for me first.
Right. Because what else you got, Katie?
I can't really think of anything. I read your TikTok book, which was really
you did?
Awesome.
You got my book?
Yeah. And I do. I've got it right here.
And have you made some TikToks?
So
you're an attractive woman, so you should do that. Yeah, you'd be great.
I've convinced these guys. Basically, we kind of come up with the conundrum of, is it better for them to have just their personal ones, their personal TikToks, or to do one for the firm?
Start with the personal.
Okay.
Because people on TikTok connect with other people.
Yeah.
Like I can't how do I have a relationship with the law firm? That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's good. That's what we were kind of going with. So good.
She's got me learning how to make reels better than just a straight up video.
Are you going to start singing and dancing?
I doubt it. It's not really my style. I'm going to stick with what I'm good at, which is like being in beautiful places in nature and then figuring out how to.
Yeah. And you're going to attract people that are like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But the site doesn't seem to have that vibe. It should. I mean, it's just because someone, they do hiking and they like to ski and they like to do the outdoors, which I think is like all of Boulder, really. But
it's like all of Colorado.
Yeah.
At least all the people moving here.
Yeah. But I think that people we work with a lot of professional service companies and they're all specialists in the thing that they do. It sounds ridiculous, but that's how they make decisions.
It's like how that's my entire theory of running a law firm and practicing law right there.
But so that, Casey, but it's not reflected in your marketing, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of on your Facebook, but it doesn't really, it needs to be in the website too.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about how we can integrate
blogs. Yeah.
stories.
Yeah. This weekend we climbed another 14er. This is one that I've always wanted to do. And I've not been able to hike for 2 months because I was injured. And here's some pictures. And, he was celebrating. And that has nothing to do with dog bites or car accidents or truck cases or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when people see that, to your point, it humanizes you. And then when people next time, God forbid, they get in a car accident and they see 3 or 4 attorneys listed there, they're going to choose the one. Oh, KC, he's the one. I feel like I know him because I've also been skiing at El Dorado or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think we were just kind of caught in the trap of how do we relate it back to law and
you don't
a law firm and all of that, thinking that was the important piece.
Yeah, you're a human. Right. That's how you relate it back, because Katie's a human.
That's right.
And I'm a human too. That's enough. Now we're the same.
And so when I post a blog on our website, if I link, let's say the local coffee shop where I just got this coffee, that doesn't really help us, right? Like,
no, it doesn't. But then you tell the local coffee shop, or your VA says, hey, I just want to tell you, I love getting my coffee or hot chocolate or the red eye or whatever it's called.
Yeah, right.
And you just give them a shout out, right, on social or Twitter or whatever it is, and then they're going to reciprocate. And then that's something that will show up in your Google Analytics or theirs, or it just builds community, like whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just a good thing to do. More people will see you because you want to leverage other people's audiences. So think about all the people at that coffee shop. If the coffee shop shouts you out, oh, thank you, KC, for stopping by. I hope the double espresso didn't keep you up at night, whatever it is, then we take that and we post that, we repurpose that and say, thank you, whatever the name of the coffee shop is. Now the people that go to that coffee shop feel like you guys have a relationship. Now all the people that get coffee there, what's the odds that somebody who goes to that coffee shop is going to get a bike accident or a car accident or something in the next few weeks? Like, it's very high.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go with these guys because their guy also goes to the same coffee shop, which is a ridiculous, non-logical reason, Katie, to hire this attorney, but that's how people make decisions. Mm-hmm. I'm an engineer. It's taken me 30 years, and I still don't believe that that's true, but I know it's true. It makes no logical sense.
We should have brought Sean to this call, because then he'll change his entire outlook.
Like, I know we can go into all this technical stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel that most law firms fall down because these attorneys are so smart that they forget about the basic humanity of what we're doing.
It's a good point, because I feel like that's the whole thing about our firm.
Because you're used to working with all these other lawyers, and all these lawyers are super smart and they're master orators. But when you look at your clientele, you're just meeting them at their level. I'm not saying like we're condescending down to them, but we're just being basic humans. And it's that I think lawyers just make it way too complicated. Yeah. Because they're just too smart.
For sure.
I couldn't pass the bar.
I don't know. I didn't think if you can take a test, you can pass the bar. It has nothing to do with being a lawyer. Yeah, I feel like we've got some homework to do before I have much else to ask. But we'll get going and see what we can find out. And once you have some things set, well, what I'll probably do is tool around on your website and look at the. I guess it's in the offerings, right? I don't
know if it's even there. Here, let me just put a link here. Yeah. I'll put it in the chat. Let's mention everything we have is 3 digits. .com/DPG. There it is. So I'll just start with that one. And then if you have any questions, just holler. We'll help you.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, this has been super helpful, super insightful. Can't wait to tell Sean all of this stuff. He's not going to believe it.
Actually, the Zoom records all the calls, so I'll just send it to you, and then you can send it to Sean.
There we go.
Perfect.
Love to hear what he thinks.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, Katie and KC, pleasure to meet.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
just anything you need, just reach out.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for talking with us, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll at least watch your videos,
Yeah.
So
well, we'll see you in Denver next time. Yeah, next time Frontier cancels my flight.
That's right.
Denver. Yeah. All right. See you guys.
All right. See you later.
Bye.